Hey guys, Alien Sama back with another NECA unbox video. Today we have Shin Godzilla from the 2016 movie Shin Godzilla. It was an amazing new take, a new breath on Godzilla and where Godzilla came from, how it came to be, how it evolved. And Shin Godzilla is the first of the movies with this Godzilla in it, very monstrous, very grotesque. Realistic as far as I'm concerned with what might come of nuclear waste monsters. Or nuclear fallout, I should say. So, let's get them opened up and see what they look like up close and just see how good NECA's products have come along over the past few years. So, as always, I now save the containers just in case I have to put my NECA products away. NECA can be a little bit fragile, so it's good to keep the container. But some might ask, how do you keep a container that is basically sealed in every which way? This is how we do it for everyone who doesn't know how or would like to know how to get their figure out. Stay tuned or just scroll down and hit the little timestamp in the description box and you can skip right ahead to the figure being out. But for those who want to see how I do it, keep watching. So, I always start from the top and work my way down. It's never safe to cut towards you, but because I'm too lazy to cut properly, I always cut towards me. Or at least cut on an angle, so if you slip, you won't slice your thigh open, which would be bad. So get a really sharp X-Acto knife. X-Acto knife is best because regular knives are probably, at least your kitchen knives are probably not this sharp. And then boom, and then very carefully and slowly, take your time, go around the edge, and just like that, boom. You might have to do it a few times just so you don't pierce the other half of the container, because right now I'm only slicing the back here, which is fantastic. And there you go. Leave this part uncut, just slice down and around, and all you have to do to get your figure out is flip it open like that. And even saves the cardboard piece on the back if you want to use it for display purposes, blah blah blah. And boom. Your figure is now out, and your container is perfectly fine and unruined. Beautiful. So, let's get this poor creature out of its horrible packaging with these horrible wires and take a closer look. So here is Shin Godzilla out of the package. His tail is now attached and he is ready to go. However, there was quite some time between the opening of the package and this Godzilla where he is now. He took a very hot bath in some hot water to loosen up his joints. NECA is very notorious for stiff joints, painted over joints, and just hard to deal with joints in general. Despite this problem NECA constantly has, I will never stop buying their products, but please NECA, stop painting over your parts, stop gluing your parts, because sometimes it gets glued, even worse. This guy is huge, he is fantastic, he is a great size, he's almost 12 inches long, including his tail, har har, and very hefty. I'd say this is one of the more heftier Godzilla NECA figures that have been brought out of this scale. Basic NECA size, just like the aliens, all the predators, that type of scale. So, also between the unpackaging and now, I finally sat down and watched the movie. Shin Godzilla was fantastic. A lot of people said they didn't like it for whatever reason, but once I saw it, holy crap, like, I thought the design was cool. I saw second form, the baby form, mutating, evolving, all the different forms up until this one, and some of the extra ones that came with the art. I hope to get the exclusive, I think it's like $200+ limited edition art and all that stuff, but I saw tons of concept art for this guy, and he's so cool. Like, I don't know why. Actually, I could understand why someone wouldn't like the new Godzilla movie, mostly because he, how do I say it? So, people didn't like the 1998, I think it was, 1999 era Godzilla, which was done by America. People didn't like it because it was feral. It didn't really look like Godzilla, even though it did. It was more like a very iguana-y reptilian Godzilla, while Godzilla back in the time was a kind of friendly, cartoony, but still scary-looking dinosaur. This Godzilla, though, is a whole new realm. Even the 2006 or 2005, I don't even remember when it came out now, the most newest as of 2017, the most newest Godzilla before this one was another American rendition. People liked that one, kind of. I liked him. He's a little cartoony for my taste, but all Godzillas are wicked. But this one, I can see why people don't like him. He's grotesque, he is gory, his concept is nothing like any of the previous movies that have come out yet. This is mostly like mainstream media, what most people know about Godzilla. We're not speaking to you hardcore fans out there who know every little detail. We're just talking about people who have seen the new movies. Or maybe even the old ones. The American ones, some of the Japanese ones. He's completely different. I loved everything about him. Oh my god. So if you don't want to hear anything about the movie, please stop the video now. There's not really spoilers, because it's a Godzilla movie. Like, either someone's going to win, someone's going to die. It's Godzilla. Like, I don't know. Anyways, so spoiler alert, or spoilers alert, because I'm going to talk about the movie some more. This guy, this is his final form we see in this particular movie. This is as heavy, as high, as heavy as he gets in this movie. This is basically his final form. For now, we don't know if he's going to evolve. As we saw, a lot of theories and ideas came about for the end of the tail. The end of the tail here is not nearly as detailed as formed as what we see in the movie. In the movie, people say it looks like a face, it looks like a mouth. In the concept art, if you're looking down into the tail once it's opened up, which I'll show you right here, it looks like a human skull. That is undoubtedly a human jaw inside that tail, which is so damn cool. I have no idea why. I've read a lot of theories. It's really awesome, but this Godzilla, I love it so much. It goes down every alley I love. Human mutation, incarnation of God, what they call it in it. Like, this creature is out to wreck humanity. And he does. He destroys Japan a lot. He wrecks it. Some of the scenes where he blasts his fucking fire is amazing. Like, absolutely beautiful in a kind of apocalyptic God has come, like, all shall fall type of theme, which is one of my favorite themes in the world. I love, not 2012 or Day After Tomorrow type of doomsday, but some giant thing, and not aliens either, just fire, and you can't stop it. You can't stop them. However, they do stop him near the end of the movie, but just based off the end of the movie, hopefully there will be some more. So I could probably talk about the movie forever and how much I loved so much things from it. But for today, we got the NECA unboxing. Sorry about that rambling. Hopefully you skipped ahead to this with the timestamp, so you don't have to actually hear me listen to all that. So we got his tail attached. The tail came separately. He's a big boy. He's got this long-ass tail. His tail the last joint is here. This part of the tail does not have any metal in it. And if it does, which I thought it did because I had these 3 little holes here, which usually indicates there's a piece of metal inside to pose. If there is metal in here, it's not strong enough to hold its form at all. So we'll just consider this one big piece that doesn't bend. Then you have a joint here, which is fantastic. So boom, very bendable, which is great. There's a joint here, which I believe this is where we attached it. I don't quite remember. It's been like 2 days since I actually took this guy out of the box. Whoops. Okay, yeah. So this is where the tail originally joined, which wasn't very hard to do, so that's very nice. You just pop it on. Of course, this guy has been submerged in very hot water. Not boiling, but just hot enough to kind of be an extremely warm bath. He's got another joint here, which is great, posable, and then he's got a big old joint right at the base of his booty. Right at the base of his booty. So there you go, just like that. Rotates all of his little frills and gills and whatever you want to call these things. His spikes on his back, they're all very flexible, posable. They're not see-through whatsoever. Basically, this whole section right here is originally just a big red piece plopped into its area and then painted how it needs to be, which looks super great. It's very, I wouldn't say gory, but it's as if it's an open wound on his back that has sprouted these strange spikes, which is cool. I love how believable this Godzilla is. So from front on, you can see this guy is pretty grotesque looking, which I love about this Godzilla, Shin Godzilla. #1 Godzilla, I don't care what anyone thinks. This guy's so cool now, I love him. So from NECA point of view, what do we got? We got neck joint, head joint, mouth joint, arm joints, elbows, wrists. Then we got hips, knees, and ankles. But the problem is, do they all pose and do they all bend correctly? The answer is no. Even after letting him sit in really hot water for a while, it did not help his joints a lot. It did help me loosen some of them, but some are still stuck. I think it's because glue was applied in the wrong areas. One of the unfortunate parts of him that is stuck is his mouth. His mouth is supposed to be able to open and show his grotesque, nasty insides, which unfortunately I've tried time and time again to pry his mouth open. I've stuck my finger in as far as it can go without hurting myself. His head came off a few times, which is fine. NECA products, especially the Godzilla ones, the head tends to come off a lot. I tried to take the head off and pry open that jaw, but I'm not sure if it's a matter of his jaw might be glued shut, or maybe his jaw was set a little too high and this little nub is preventing it from opening. I'm thinking if I shave off a bit of that red nub that's sticking out, maybe I might be able to open his jaw, but in the last few days I haven't really bothered to do that. I'm okay with his mouth not opening, although I would like to get one, maybe an SH Figure Arts, even though those are expensive. And hopefully the mouth of that one can open. He's got a great neck joint, tons of room. Some of the Godzilla figures that have been released don't have an amazing neck joint. You can do side to side, up and down. What's kind of funny, and I guess a bonus, is this figure is more posable than the actual Godzilla we saw in the movie. The Godzilla in the movie was very still, but to think he's a creature that's trying to grow up, trying to evolve, and doesn't really know why it's alive. Like, it's probably not going to show too much signs of very much life. He does move fast in some scenes, but honestly, it's not like I want to see him running, jumping off of mountains and stuff. That's not how I see Godzilla. So, next is his little bitty arms. So in the movie, you'll pretty much always see his arms in this type of pose. A lot of people freaking hate his arms, and I mean hate them. They don't like that his little arms are like little T-Rex limbs, but keep in mind, this Godzilla is evolving. When he first evolves into his upright position, his arms unfold out of his flesh. They've actually been just the little elbows kind of sticking out like little chicken wings, but then his elbows bend out this way or come out like this from inside his arm, and then his hands are exposed. So his arms may not be fully developed. And by the looks of it, it doesn't really look like it. His hands look like really gross, fleshy skeletal hands, until later on when he comes back out of the water, and we see he has developed a harder, molten lava-like crust, which is kind of cool. So his arms are posable. This one over here I found was more posable than this one, not necessarily because of the design, but because NECA joints are not the greatest. But that's okay, I love you, NECA. This guy showed most of his posing potential when he was in hot water. Of course, the joints have loosened, everything's more easier to bend. So when he was in the hot water, aka my tub, because that's where you can get massive quantities of hot water in your house, other than the sink, he was posing perfectly fine. So you have his arms, they can bend open like this, which is great. They do rotate on the sides, so that's good. Rotatey, and his little wrist, his little baby wrist, can bend like that. Just like that, his little baby wrist. It's beautiful. He also has a joint in his waist right here, which was much more posable while in the hot water. It still is quite posable, and having drenched him in hot water helped a lot, but he's really only kind of side to side and back and forth, the kind of small rocking motions, which is okay, I guess. His hips or his thighs, after putting him in hot water, could move much more. That was basically all the movement I had before the water. Then after putting in hot water, I could bring the thighs out a lot more. If it will potentially do that again, there we go. So, that's about the maximum I could bring the thighs out. There is a huge ball joint in there, but be careful, be so careful. And of course there's rotation. Another joint that I had a problem with and still is not free is the knee joint. There is a joint in there. They should be able to, this whole part of the leg should be able to open and close just like a leg or a thigh or a chicken wing, but unfortunately it is stuck, which is annoying. However, this one is okay. This one is not a rotating joint, it's just a ball joint of which this is on, so it can only really move so much. Got back and forth, boom, boom, boom. Got a little bit of movement. It's alright, it's NECA. You look beautiful, but you can't pose too well. That's basically NECA for you. But I still love you, and I hope you all buy it, because this Godzilla is so cool. He's so cool. I love this Godzilla so much. I can't wait to buy more products of him. After seeing the movie, I fell even more in love with it than I already thought I was. So do I recommend buying this figure? If you love Shin Godzilla and you have some extra $34.99 Canadian, which is how much he was where I bought him, at Giant Robots here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada. If you have about that much money, probably only 20-something or maybe $30 USD, depending on where you live, if you have the extra cash and you find Shin Godzilla's wicked, I definitely recommend buying him. I am going to keep buying more Shin Godzilla stuff because holy crap, I love it. I love that movie and I can't wait to see more of this type of Godzilla. And with that Kong movie that came out in 2016, I can't wait to see the American Godzilla movies that come out with Mothra and King Ghidorah, and holy crap. If you haven't seen the Kong movie, watch it, and then wait through the credits, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next unboxing video, and as always, guys, peace out. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. Please subscribe and enjoy these extra videos just for you. Farewell for now.